Oh man! Oh man! Oh man! Oh, Jesus!
A few moments later.
I won! Oh my god! Oh my god! Whoa! I won Hikaru and then Magnus! Oh my goodness! Oh, wow! That's sick! Yeah, that's probably my best ever. I mean, I won Hikaru, then I beat Magnus 2 games in a row. Draw is Sarin, then make a draw against Ragazzi, against Jeffrey Sean, and beat Kohlers. 10 of 11, I played against everyone in the top. All of them. I just played against all of them. I didn't lose any single game. I beat Hikaru, I beat Magnus, I beat Ragazzi. Okay, where is my viewer? Who said if I win, he will donate $1,000. I'm waiting you, man. Oh, that's crazy.
Welcome back, chess fans. In this video, Bortnyk winning against Hikaru, followed by Bortnyk winning against Magnus. Bortnyk was on fire on July 23rd. He won the late title Tuesday with a score of 10 points out of 11. It's spectacular. Let's see the marquee wins. So in the first game against Hikaru, d4, knight f6, knight c3, d5, we have bishop f4, which is Bortnyk's specialty, Jobava London. x6 plays, which by the way I play with black against the same opening, e3, and now Hikaru surprising with h6. Typically, you may have e6, knight f3, c5, knight e5. But instead, h6. Okay, knight f3, then e6, and here Bortnyk plays a3. He doesn't want any shenanigans with bishop f4. c5 plays. I just want to mention that g5 was also possible, followed by bishop g3 and knight h5. But Hikaru goes for c5, so far so good. Take, take, bishop g3. And now, what would be logical? You could play castle. You could also play what the computer recommends, knight h5, to eventually win that piece, right? Anyway, bishop g3, b6 is what Hikaru is playing. And Bortnyk was surprised during the live stream. Like, what's going on with b6? That's not a normal move. So Hikaru is trying to step out of the main theory of the Jobava London. And e4 is what Bortnyk plays. What a classy move. What is the idea? Well, b7, b6 weaken the diag over here. So imagine that you take here, I take, you take with black, I take, we exchange the queens. And now what? Well, the rook here is attacked by the bishop. You move the rook, bishop b8. What wins the piece? GG, good game. So you can see that e4 is the principal move to fight against Hikaru's setup. Of course, Hikaru sees that and plays bishop b7, lining up his bishop against the long diag. So here e5, and I'm gonna go quickly because the game is so complicated. I want to go to the critical moment of the game. g4 played, knight moves, queen g5. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, the key moment of the game. Hikaru has a castle. He pushes his g-pawn to g5 and then g4, bring the queen, h5 is coming, long castle, rook g8, potentially knight e7, f5, d4 as well, attacking the king. So Bortnyk here finds the best move. Feel free to pause the video. And here he goes for the critical line, sacking a piece. Black takes, e6. The rook is on e1, The king hasn't castled. This is a time to try to find the refutation of black's play. Knight f6 play, the game gets very complicated. Bishop d4, take, take, and now knight f5. Very strong move because we're targeting d6, targeting the bishop. Bishop takes here. Black has won a lot of material, but look at these pieces with white. The two bishops, the knight on f5, the rook, and the queen. The question is white winning here? The computer says yes. The best move was queen takes a1, but bishop h4 is what Bortnyk plays. Feel free to pause the video. Extremely complex position. White is trying to win against the king. Black is trying to survive with extra material. After a long thing, Hikaru gives up the queen. Now you may say, why not play queen f4, right? And here, queen takes a1, threatening to come here with checkmate. On knight h5, bishop g3, and here you have a choice. If the queen moves, you give a check, you move the rook, rook g6, followed by queen g7, winning the queen. This is GG, good game. So on bishop g3, the queen moving is not so good, but if you take the bishop, queen g7, checkmate. So we have a beautiful combination here on queen f4 with queen takes a1. So maybe seeing that, it just turned out that the best move was bishop e5. Because if you take the queen, black has enough material. Black is threatening to come here. On g3, bishop c8, white doesn't have enough to have an attack, and black is better. At any rate, what's happening here, Hikaru panics, and then we have white crashing through. And here, I'm gonna go quickly with the game. You can see that white has the queen, black has material, but the problem is the king is in the center. And here, with f4, white wins another piece, the knight. And even though black has rook and bishop against the queen, this position with the king wide open, extra pawns for white is winning. The game went on and on. They were low on time, so very critical game for Bortnyk. But make no mistake, the h pawn is running and black doesn't have enough because the king is in the center. So the game goes on, and here with a few seconds left on the clock, queen c8 attacks the king and attacks the bishop. Yes, Hikaru protects the bishop on c5, but after queen f5, that's it. GG, good game. Bortnyk wins against Hikaru. What a game, what an interesting battle in the Jobava London, and what a crazy game starting at this moment with the line take, take, and e6. Crazy complicated game. Bortnyk showed it was up to the task. Let's see the next game. And now, right after playing Hikaru, Bortnyk gets paired with Magnus Carlsen, back to back. And this, I think, is an amazing game, e4. So I want to remind you, while Bortnyk played d4, the Jobava London here is facing the Sicilian and can play e4 as well as d4. And here is avoiding the theory with the pet line bishop e2. Knight c6, f4, d5, d3. By the way, black could take, and you would have an endgame. But surprisingly, Carlsen goes for knight d4. They played that opening before, so they go very quickly. And here, e6. Black is happy because black has a bishop pair. Now, Bortnyk is not phased by any means. Knight c3, knight e7, castle d4, knight retreats, knight c6, knight goes back to f2, bishop e7. So we have just a normal position, but Bortnyk is an aggressive player. And here, he plays g4. Yes, he lost the bishop pair, but he's looking to advance, maybe f5, maybe g5 and h4, king h1. He's looking to attack on the king side. Carlsen plays f5, an excellent move, and after a few more moves, we have the move bishop b7. Look at Carlsen, bishop b7, targeting the king on h1. Now, Bortnyk has to open the lines, and here takes on f5. Queen d5 play. By the way, bishop d7, queen d5 is a knight were to go somewhere. Look at that, right? Maybe not that diag. Look at that one, right? Very clear. Knight e4 is what Bortnyk saw. Rook takes, rook g3, rook f8, and now rook g1, g6, move 20, Bortnyk plays queen g2. Now Bortnyk is a tricky player in Blitz and Bullet, especially Bullet, but obviously he's one of the best players in the world, winning the title Tuesday, and he's won it many times. However here, let's say if black doesn't pay attention, like play a5, you play rook takes, and after that, you crashing through. So a lot of little tricks like that. Of course, Magnus Carlsen, former world champion, also Blitz and Rapid world champion when we play on the board, played queen f7, saying, hey, not so fast. If you take here, I'm going to defend. You take back, I'm going to defend. So we have this position here. I think black is obviously a little bit better because of the two bishops, but clearly we have Bortnyk having some tactical chance on the G line with the triple stack. Rooks and queen, which called the Alekhine's, special setup, and we have the Alekhine battery and an interesting game. Now I'm gonna go fast forward, h4, trying to go for h5, but now rook h5, Magnus Carlsen knows how to defend. So king h2, knight d8. Now you may say, wait a second, taking seems to be good, right? But then you get rook h3, and if the bishop retreats, you win a rook with the white pieces. So little tactics like that, and knight d8, rook g4 is played, the game goes on. And in this moment, we have a crazy position. They're getting low on time. Knight g3 seems to fork two pieces. This is a key moment. Feel free to pause the video. What would you do with the black pieces? And here there are two moves which would win pretty much on the spot. The first move we can do is take the pawn. Wait a minute, you're losing the rook, right? The queen rather. But after knight f4, obviously you have this check, attacking the queen, it's pretty much game over. After queen f1, rook h4 wins for black. So that is very convincing. The second move you could play is queen g4. Because if you take with the queen, then check, and black is on top. And on queen takes g4, if you play with the knight taking back, simply knight f4, attack the queen, threatening rook h4, GG, good game. After knight h5, you take, and this position is hopeless for white. So over here, if Carlsen found the right path, he would win. But instead of giving the queen, he goes in and attacks the queen with knight f4. But here, white takes the queen, black takes the queen, white takes the knight, black takes the rook, and here, tactics. Instead of taking back the knight on g1, we have check. And after white has to take, we do like that, and we have a fork after rook, king g7 rather, rook takes g1, threatening to take the rook, but also having a discovery attack. Carlsen moved the rook, but we have discovery attack, we have a check, and after the dust settles, we have rook g5, and let's take a tally. The king has to go here on h6, and after all these tactics, white has an extra pawn. However, you will know right away that we have opposite color bishops, so that should be a draw. Now the game goes on. This is very technical here. I'm gonna fast forward the game to the critical moment. So here they're exchanging a lot of pawns and the position is equal the entire time. So let's fast forward to the critical moment of the game. So this position, we can say that white has an extra pawn, but we have the opposite bishops. So black is gonna cover this diag, white is covering this diag. It's gonna be a draw. It should be a draw. And here, very tricky, black, Magnus, makes a mistake. Here, he had to move the bishop, maybe to e4, maybe to f5, maybe even like further out, but instead, he attacks the bishop. Now, white takes, black takes, rook h3, and all of a sudden, the pawn here is gonna queen. So there's a lot of checks going on, but black is lost. And eventually here, black is running out of checks, no more checks, and white has a simple plan, promoting the h pawn. Rook a8, h7, now you're threatening h8 equal queen, rook h8, and now what is the winning move? King e6, king g5, queen f7, the king comes to g7, the rook has to go, we promote, and we win. So very tense game. It ended up being a rook endgame, which was the deciding factor. But I think that was an absolutely amazing performance by Bortnyk after winning against Hikaru, a very tense game, being able to win Magnus back-to-back, and then not losing a single game, winning Title Tuesday, $1,000, and the first place in the chess.com online Blitz tournament. Just to remind you, is 3 minutes plus 1 second for each player, 11 rounds, and with 10 points out of 11, Bortnyk cleared first place. I hope you enjoyed the recap and a little bit of the streaming for Bortnyk at the beginning. Extraordinary performance, very strong games with white. I see you in the next one.